Hey everybody, I want to talk to you about how to do a couple of qualitative data visualizations, or excuse me, I'm calling them categorical these days. Categorical data visualizations, specifically pie charts and bar charts. Those are the ones that we're going to use most often. I'll mention tables a little bit, but those we kind of talked about in the last topic. So let me start off by going to Google Sheets. So this is my preferred spreadsheet program, I guess. I like it a little bit better than Excel, although that's close. So let me show you around Google Sheets a little bit. So this is your basic spreadsheet program. You put in, it's basically one big table, right? And in general, what you do is you put your categories in rows. So, oh, by the way, I'm stealing this from number 9 or 10 and 11 in the book in chapter 2, which is very similar to a homework problem that I wrote for you guys. I just basically stole it. So what I've got here is a table, right? I've got high schools, the names of high schools, and these high schools compete in a science competition. And this is also like one entire district, I guess. So what we've got here is each high school. So Alabaster is a high school. They send 28.9% of the students to the science competition, not of their students, but of the population of the science competition. And they have 8.6% of the student population overall. So you can tell they're a relatively small school that sends a lot of people to the science competition, which we'll talk about what that means in a little bit. But what I really want to do is talk about pie charts and bar charts. And it's much easier if I make one first before we start talking about it. So I'm going to talk about how to make pie charts and bar charts in Sheets. And then I'm also going to show you how to do it in Excel. And then I'm going to show you how to do it in SPSS. SPSS is a statistical analysis program, in case you've never heard of that. Yeah, you're definitely going to want to stick around. Like if you want to use SPSS, you're going to want to get some tutorials on it. It's not particularly user friendly like Sheets and Excel are. So anyway, here's how you make a pie chart or a bar chart. I'm going to start with a pie chart. I'm just going to highlight the things that I want to put in the pie chart. So I want to put all this stuff in my pie chart. And then I'm going to hit my charts button. It's this button right here, insert chart. Now, here's why I like Sheets. Sheets picks good charts for you. They just make good choices about what charts to choose and how to make them look. But you can still customize them quite a bit. So it's probably gonna give me a bar chart here. Yeah, it usually defaults to bar. So if I want something else, and I want a pie chart for right now. So I'm going to switch this to a pie chart. So I just scroll down to find the one I want. That one looks good. All right, so here's my pie chart. Okay, so a couple things about pie charts. One, I think everybody understands this, but the size of the slice represents the size of the variable that you're looking at. So here we've got science competition population. So Alabaster has a big slice because they send a lot of people to the science competition. That's basically what it is. I think everybody probably already knew that, but just to clear things up. Now, you can use pie charts and bar charts in most of the same circumstances, but not all. There is a difference here, which is that the percentages have to add up to 100% to use a pie chart. And you'll see I asked a question in the homework about that. It's the last question about the appliances. So yeah, if what your data is like one group of things that you're dividing into different categories, pie charts work great. They're nice visuals. People in business love pie charts. I like bar charts better personally, but pie charts are good too. So let's talk a little bit about how you can customize this. Now, in general, in most modern computer programs, you click on stuff to change them, right? So if I wanted to change the title, I could do it this way, right? It says science competition population versus high school. How about we just say science competition population in, I think this was, yeah, they called it David County, right? So there you go. I can change this and I can change it to look like I want. So there's a chart editor over here. And I can make things look like I want them to by using the, hello? Is it not? Oh, there it goes. Yeah. Sorry, it didn't take my bold. There we go. So I can make it bold and italicized if I want to. I can change like lots of different aspects of how the chart looks. Chart style, we can change the colors, we can change the style of the border, etc. I usually pretty much stick to the defaults, to be honest. I think Sheets makes pretty nice looking charts, so I usually don't feel the need to change them around, but you are more than welcome to make it look like however you want, right? And I would encourage you to play around with this at least a little bit, just so you become familiar with what's possible, right? Like it's not, let's see, percentage, there we go, right? We can see the percentage in there if we want to, just to get a sense of what is possible to do with the different programs that we've got here. You certainly don't have to. You can certainly like leave it on the default all the time, and it'll look perfectly nice. Sheets does a good job of that. So that's kind of all I want to say about pie charts, right? There's really not much more to it. Make them look how you want to look. Just poke through the options, and it'll let you you'll figure it out. And anything that you see, you can probably click on. So like I can click on the pie chart, or I think this is on the slice. It'll automatically switch me over to changing that slice, right? I'm on Alabaster here. I could change to a different slice if I want to. I can go back to the way we had it before. We can explode it out like that, right? Lots of different options. Yeah, I'll just leave it up to you to figure out exactly how you want to customize your charts. I would encourage you to customize them. I will not force you to customize them. I know it can be tedious looking for options. All right, I'm going to go ahead and delete this chart. I do want to show you something that I think a lot of people don't necessarily know, which is how to select more than one thing at a time, right? So everybody knows, the click and drag, right? That's no secret. But let's say I wanted to make a chart of overall student population instead of science competition population. What I can do is I'm going to click on the header here, and then I'm going to hit Control. You can't see it, but I'm holding the Control key, and I click there, and it'll select both without deselecting one. Now, if I don't hold Control, right, if I click on this and I click on that without holding Control, it doesn't work. If you want to select a bunch of stuff in a row, now I'm going to hold a Shift this time rather than Control. And when I do that, you can see it selects everything between where I started and where I clicked second. So Control click will select just the things that you click on without deselecting previous selections. Shift will select everything between the things that you click on. So I click here, hold Shift, and now it grabs, I missed. It grabs all that stuff. So holding Shift or holding Control will let you choose more things. So if I wanted to make a pie chart instead of science competition population, rather of overall student population, right? I can select here, Control, select there, and then if I make a chart, it'll be using the right data, right? Notice it's overall student population this time, rather than the science competition population. So let's get rid of that. Okay, so bar charts. Oh, I suppose I could have just used that one, couldn't I? Let's go ahead and do that. So bar charts. Let's go ahead and make this. So this is going to be for overall student population, and you can see that you have pretty much the same options, right? You can choose to change type of chart, you can change the colors of things, et cetera, et cetera. I'll let you poke around in here. I would encourage you, the titles usually aren't that great. I would encourage you to have a better title than they give. And if you want, there's subtitles in here somewhere too. Where is it? Oh yeah, instead of chart title, we could have a subtitle, overall student what is this? Population for high school, a tale as old as time. There. Bam. Now I have a subtitle that says something nonsensical in this context. Now, here's why I want you to be able to do these on a computer. When you are doing assignments 2 or topics 2 and 3, I ask you to do them on a computer and to make all your charts on a computer, and then copy paste them into a Word document or whatever document. If you want to use docs, you can, or Pages, works fine. And so what you can do, let's see, here's copy chart an option. Yeah, copy chart is right here. So now I've got that chart copied. Do I have a Word doc open? Yeah, here's one that I was just using. So I can paste that in here and it's now a picture. And being a picture, you can do lots of stuff with it, which is really nice. So if I right click on that, whoop, hello? Okay, so if I right click on that, I can do things like change my text wrapping, which is actually really important so that I can move it around, right? So I can drag this, I can resize it, I can make it lighter or darker, or bigger or smaller. And it works great with various text here. Let me cut this and go into a different document. Oh, you can't see any of that because I wasn't sharing it, was I? Gosh darn it, I'm so sorry. Let's try this again. So if I share up the thing that I was just looking at, so I paste in my document and I can move it around. It's very nice to be able to put in my my document wherever I want, right? And you can answer questions around it and talk about the chart with the chart right next to it. It looks very, very professional, very nice. So let me go ahead and cut this and switch over to a different document. Let's do this one. This was the outline I used to design the stats class. Not that matters. And then the reason I care about this here, let's do this. One sec. Let's paste that in here. So now I can do things like change my text wrapping. Let's say I wanted to put it in the middle of something. It will work around what I've got there. Obviously, this is ugly and doesn't go at all with the chart, but you get the idea that you can change the text wrapping and move it around so that it's buried in the middle of your assignment or whatever you're doing. And being able to do that is really nice and really useful and makes for really good documents, to be honest. Yeah, so that's why I want you to be able to make these charts and graphs in a computer program, is so that it can be incorporated into a larger document and look nice. Basically, this is a thing that you're probably going to have to do at some point. If you haven't already, I would imagine you've tried to make nice looking documents before. Here's how you can incorporate charts and graphs. All right, let me switch my share back to Sheets. Okay. So that's how you can make a nice looking chart in Sheets. I want to show you the same stuff in Excel and in SPSS, and I will show you why I like Sheets better. Excel has caught up, to be fair. Excel is not as bad as it used to be, but SPSS hasn't. So let's look at how you want to do this in Excel. So let me delete this chart. I'm going to gather all this. Just click and drag. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go over to Excel. I have an Excel file open here. That one. And I copied from Sheets. I'm just going to paste in Excel. So right away, you can see that Excel doesn't do a very good job of spacing. It doesn't change your spacing automatically. You have to do it manually if you want it to look nice, which is a little annoying, because it's hard to know how much space you need to give you everything until it's all spaced out. You can see it in one line. So let's see here. So I want it to be about yay big, yay big, yay big. And this is one reason I like Sheets. Sheets does a nice job of doing this for you automatically. You don't have to deal with all the nonsense. There's probably some way to do this automatically in Excel. I don't know what it is, though. So I'm just going to leave it like that. So the stuff you do in Excel is pretty much the same as the way you would do it in Sheets, which is pretty nice. So I'm going to select the columns that I want to include in my chart. So let's make a pie chart here. So the options are in Insert, and then you have your various charts. So there's charts you can choose from. You can have it recommend some charts for you if you want. Sheets kind of just does this automatically, but you can see that we have the same recommended charts. Pie chart first. I'll hit OK. Now, I don't think that looks as nice. It feels like they've got the legend very small and they don't have it pointing at the various slices and nothing's labeled. You can put all that stuff in Excel, but you have to do it manually. So here's where you do that. So we can label the data. Want to, that seems like a good idea. We can, what is this? This is where all the options are, right? Yeah. Yeah, you can choose some defaults if you want to from various choices that they've got for you. Honestly, their defaults are pretty good, right? Like I wouldn't go out of my way to go changing them, but you certainly can change things around all you want. They do not lack for, okay, stop that. They do not lack for options, right? So you can, let's do this. You can make your legend look different. You can move your chart around. I could have sworn you could move the chart around somewhere. There we go. You can move your chart around and make it bigger or smaller. You can do all the same things that you could do in Sheets, where you like double click on something and it'll bring up more options for you to choose from, right? So here I've clicked on the Concordia, I think. No, this is like the Alabaster. I think that's the Alabaster slice. It's a little hard to tell. This is one reason why I don't like the legend. It's way too small. But you can choose what color you want it to be. That's called the fill. I could make it brick red if I wanted to, if I preferred for Alabaster. It have no fill and it would not be there. You can actually put in your own textures. You can insert images if you want to. You can get super fancy with it. So like Excel has lots of different options for you to customize your chart. So feel free to poke around in these. You can do all the same things like, change the title, change the font, change what the font looks like, right? I can change the color. You can change anything you want pretty much. So yeah, again, I'll go ahead and leave you to figure out what options there are and what things you want to do. If you want to get rid of it, just click on it and hit the delete key. You can do sort of the same thing that you could do in Sheets, where you select more than one column and make a chart out of that. So let's make a insert chart. Let's make a bar chart here. Right, so here's my bar chart. Pretty much the same as the style in Sheets. Again, I like the way, I like Sheets' design aesthetic better, but all the same stuff is there. You can feel free to use Excel. Get rid of this. Delete that. We're gonna grab, or I still got it selected. So here's where I'm gonna go to SPSS next. Now, here's where you can go to find SPSS. It's on VMware. Is that, yeah. So when you select the VMware icon, you should get something that looks like this, right? So I have it installed on my desktop. If you choose HTML access, it's pretty much the same thing. The program we're looking for here is this one, IBM SPSS Statistics 27. This is a very old program. Well, this version isn't old, but like I used SPSS when I went to college, and it was like SPSS 2. And now they've got SPSS 27, and that's what you're using. And you might think to yourself, well, that's fantastic. I bet it's a lot better now. If only. So anyway, select this. And I'm not going to do it right now because it is slow. It probably took a good 2 minutes to open on my computer. I'm not even exaggerating. It's slow to load. Once it loads up, you will see, let me go get that going. You will see this. You get this, which looks pretty much like a spreadsheet, which it sort of is, but not exactly. So here is how this is different. SPSS is very specifically for doing statistical analysis and is really particular about how you put stuff into it. Now, I think this is going to work fine if I do this, right? If I just paste, yeah, it works okay. You can see it's calling the variables VAR 000004, 000005, and 000006. And it doesn't realize that we have a header row. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take out that header row. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to click on this row. I'm going to hit the delete key, not the backspace key, the delete key. That'll get rid of it. Next, I'm going to go change all of these variable names to something more sensible than they currently are. I'm going to make them the same thing I had them before. So VAR0004 is going to be high school, and then this is going to be science competition population. This is going to be overall population. So the way you do that, you can't click on, or you can click on the header, but it won't select the title. You have to go to variable view. Notice we are currently in data view. To change the names of variables, you have to go to variable view. So it will. And what we see is this nonsense, where we have to tell SPSS very specifically how to, like, what our variables are going to be called, and some other properties, which I will mention in just a second. One thing to note in SPSS, spaces are not allowed. You cannot put spaces in your variable names. Watch, if I try, it will let me put it here, and then I'll hit enter, and it's going to give me an error. Yeah, it just tells me that it contains an illegal character, but doesn't say which one. Surprisingly, it's the space. So you cannot put spaces in your variable names. So the usual way around that, underscores. Underscores are fine. Spaces are not okay. Type, string basically means word or label. You can choose some other ones. It could be a numerical variable or a variety of other things. Basically, I always either choose string or numeric. It's very rare that I would have anything else. So high school is a string because it is labels. Variable, the second one, which was science competition population, I think. Science comp pop is not a string. So the name is a string, but the variable itself is numbers. Or percentages. Do they have percentages? No. All right, so we're going to say that it's numeric. With I think we had 2 decimal places in the other one, so let's do. I think we only had actually have 1 decimal place, so I'm going to give it 1 decimal place. And yes, you do have to manually choose how many decimal places there are. You can do that here as well. Width is how wide it is on the screen. Wait, is that true? There's also columns. Maybe that's how wide it is on the screen. One of those is how wide it is on the screen. Let's change one and see what happens. Width is not how wide it is on the screen. That's columns. Width is, and I don't know why they have this feature. Width is how many digits you can put in. So like if I tried to make something wider than 30 characters, like if I tried to make this name more than 30 characters long, it wouldn't accept it. It would just cut it off at the 30th one and not let me type more. I don't know why it does that, because you can just come here and change it to be wider if you want. Don't ask me. SPSS is weird. I'm not going to talk about labels right now, or values or missing. Columns is just how wide it is on the screen. You can move that. You can change that with your mouse. Watch. So it's currently 30. If I go to data view, you can make this. Why is it? Oh, it didn't accept it because I changed it to numeric. Wait, why didn't it change? What's going on here? One of those things should change. All right, I'm not sure. Sorry. Yeah, so why is this not showing up? It went and got rid of this for some reason. I think it didn't like the percentage signs. I did change it to numeric. Yeah, I changed it to numeric. It didn't like the percentage signs. I don't know why not. Okay, so for the measure, this is where you tell SPSS what kind of variable you have, whether it is a label or a number or an ordinal variable, right? So I think we talked about, briefly about ordinal in terminology section. That's what this is. Scale means numerical. It's what you've got in numbers. Nominal means categorical. It's just a label. So we want these to be scale. I think I'm gonna have to type them in again. I'm gonna have to type them in again. That's a little annoying. Because if you leave this as nominal, SPSS, hello? If you leave this as nominal, SPSS will literally not know they are numbers, and it will not let you do things as though they were numbers, which is a little annoying. You have to actually tell it that it is scale for it to know what to do. Don't worry about roll. All right, this is overall. This is also going to be numerical. Yeah, I think it didn't like the fact that I had percentages in there, and so I'm going to have to retype everything. It's going to be 1 decimal, not 10 decimals, 1 decimal. Okay, so not, all right. Yeah, I deleted everything because it took out the things that weren't numbers, and I don't know why it's not adjusting the width here. So I'm gonna have to type these in again. I'm just gonna go ahead and pause the video while I do that. You don't need to watch me type probably, so pausing. All right, I typed it all in. One thing I do want to point out, let me go to SPSS here. One thing I do want to point out, I forgot what I was going to point out. SPSS demands that I put in the right number of decimals. If I don't, it just fills it in for me. Like for this one, I just typed in 15 and it put 15.0 for me, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. Go to variable view here. I see. So one thing SPSS does, which is a little annoying. So notice the little symbols by the variable name. So this is the symbol for nominal or categorical. This ruler is a symbol for numerical. And this one, I changed this. I changed overall population to be numeric, but it didn't change the variable type because I also have to change the measure to scale. If I don't change them both, it won't allow me to do what I want to do. Okay, now I believe what we want to do is go to graphs in chart builder. So this is saying, hey, you need to make sure that you've set all your variables properly. So we did that already, so I made okay. Here is how you make charts in SPSS. So the first thing I'm going to do is select the kind of chart I'm going to make, which they have helpfully put at the bottom. The first thing you do, they put at the bottom. I don't know why. So I'm going to make a pie chart. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this and drag it into there. So it knows I'm trying to make a pie chart. And then it's going to ask me for what variables go where. So it's not a matter of what you select on the sheet. That actually doesn't do anything. It's in here that you have to tell it what I'm trying to say here. You have to tell tell SPSS what variables are doing what, and they don't ask in a sensible manner. So here are the choices. We have angle variable, slice by, and filter. We're going to ignore filter. Slice by is what you want the slices to be labeled, and angle variable is how big you want the slices to be. So the labels that we're going to have are from the high school column. So I'm going to take that and drag it in here. And then what I'm going to do for the count is, I guess I'll do science competition. So my science competition population is going to go in for count. It changed this, just, I don't know, to be confusing, I don't know. And so now what it's doing is it's going to slice, the slices are going to be labeled with high school, and their size is going to be determined by the variables in science competition population. Then I'm going to hit okay. There's a bunch of other stuff you can do in here you don't need to. And one thing that SPSS always does is it always has two windows. It has your data window and your output window. Oh, you can't see the output window because it's a different window. So what you're looking at right now is this. So it popped open this window. you didn't see when it was processing, but it popped open this window and it put the chart in here. And so here's the chart. It is kind of bland, like they didn't do anything with it. To modify this chart, we're going to need to open up yet another window. I'm going to double click on this. It's going to open up a chart editor window, which you can't see. Let's go look at that. It opened up. What? It claims that I closed the, no, I didn't. What? Hang on. Why did it, sorry, it appears to have closed the chart. Where's my chart editor? All right, it's working okay now. Great. There is, oh, oh, you got to be kidding me. Okay, so there's a thing that you can't see right now. The properties window. Oh, maybe if I do this, you can see it. I don't know if you can see this on the recording or not. Anyway, when you open the chart editor window by double clicking on a chart in the output window, it automatically opens up this properties window. So where's properties options? You want to have this properties window open all the time because it doesn't show you. It's weird. I think it's Control T to open the properties window, because this is how you change anything. So the way you change things in SPSS is you have to click on stuff. There are options up here, but they're very hard to find. It's much easier to click on things. So for instance, I'm going to click on the title here, and it will automatically open up the title editor. You don't normally have to stick it over the chart like this. I just can't show it on Zoom for some reason. It's like a sub window or something that's not allowing me to show in share screen. So, and this will allow you to change all the options that you want. And you can click on like a slice, or now I've clicked on so if I click on the pie chart, it brings me to the whole pie chart options. I don't know if you can see this, but it's got like a little circle around the pie chart indicating that that's the thing that's been clicked on. If I click again, now it's going to be just surrounding the pie slice. And so now these are the pie slice options. I will let you poke around the SPSS options yourself if you would like to. I think SPSS is not as good as Excel or Sheets for making charts, with one exception, which is box plots, which is in homework, or which is in topic 3, which we'll talk about when we get there. SPSS is really hard to use. Like, no sugarcoating it. It's a pain in the neck to use. It's also significantly more powerful for statistical analysis because that's what it was built to do. So if you want to do, if you want a program that will do every kind of statistical analysis you could possibly want, SPSS is excellent. It does a good job of that. As you can see, it's annoying. It's annoying to use it. In general, I would suggest that you use Sheets or Excel or whatever the Mac version is of the spreadsheet program for pretty much everything, and then your calculator, like the TI 83 or 84, will do all the stats that we needed to do. SPSS does them better in some cases, but not all cases, and we can do most of the graphs and charts that we want using Sheets or Excel much easier than we can in SPSS. So if you want to learn SPSS, it's powerful. It used to be the industry standard until pretty recently, statistical analysis program. And it's got a lot of weird quirks that you have to get used to. So if you want to use it, I'll be happy to tell you more about it. I've used it a fair bit in this class. Yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. You can make pie charts, bar charts, etc. The thing is that in SPSS, you pretty much have to click on the thing that you're trying to modify, and then Control T will open your properties window. which is, I know it's up here somewhere. I thought it was under view, properties, format toolbar. No, I don't know. I know it's in here somewhere. I promise it is, but I just always use Control T. So you click on the thing that you want to modify, Control T to open up your properties, modify it however you want, click on the next thing, etc. Even with that, SPSS has a weird quirk that you can't really resize things. So like, all right, so I say that and you'll see this resizing and say, looks like I'm gonna resize stuff. Well, resize it so that it's smaller, but now it's just a tiny thing stuck sitting around in the same size window. So like if I were to try and move stuff around, it doesn't work very well. So resizing stuff, you can, but it ends up working out pretty poorly, which is annoying because SPSS does some automatic resizing. Like there are things where, like if I got rid of this title and then decided to put it back in, SPSS would have filled the whole box with the pie chart. And then when I put the title back in, it won't shrink it. And now you can't, now your title has to be laying on top of your pie chart because there's nowhere else for it. Anyway, there's a series of annoyances like that. If you want to do SPSS, because you want to learn a stats program in your stats class, which seems totally reasonable, let me know and I will show you more about SPSS. I can even do a whole video on it. Yeah, I've done quite a bit with it in the 20 or 30 times I've taught stats before. Anyway, once you're done modifying your chart however you want in SPSS, just close the chart editor and you can see it closed the window again. Why did it do that? All right, hang on. All right, so anyway, here is the output window, right? This is the window where it does stuff. And you can copy paste from here. So I just right click on this and copy and paste from there. One thing that's a little bit awkward is you don't have SPSS on your home computer, and you almost certainly never will. SPSS is really expensive. So what that means is that this is all in VMware. So what you're going to have to do is before you use anything, you're probably going to have to save this to Google Drive. VMware is treating your computer or whatever computer you're using VMware from as though it was an SPCC lab computer, which means it doesn't know that it's your computer anymore. So it can't see your hard drive or your flash drive or anything that you've got hooked up in your computer because it doesn't know that it is your computer. It thinks that it's the SPCC lab computer. So what that means is, for instance, when I go to save this, let's see what happens. So notice that what it does is it's not looking on my home computer. This is, yeah, so JP Grade 4, this is my username at SPCC. So when it says local disk, it doesn't actually have a local disk drive. So the best option is basically to save it to Google Drive, right? And so if you go to Google Drive, you can hook up, like you can see, I've got my Google Drive account through SPCC here. And so I can save it in there and try and open it on my home computer and then use the pictures there, right? Then I'll be able to copy paste. So it's a little bit awkward. I'm not gonna save this. I'm gonna go ahead and cancel this. But that's what you can do is you can use you can save it to your Google Drive and then open up Word through VMware and have it open a file on Google Drive, and it can be this file. All right. I don't know if I've maybe convinced you not to use SPSS here. I would love it if nobody wanted to use SPSS. That's fine with me. If you do, like I said, I'll be happy to show you more. All right, so I'm going to close this out. This is the output window, right? Yeah, I'm going to close the output window. It's going to No, I don't want to save. It's going to kick me back here. That's this. That's all from here. However, SPSS is powerful and you can use it to make all the charts that you want. But I'm going to go ahead and close it now. I want to make sure that I am not forgetting anything. So I'm back here in Sheets, back here in the friendly confines of Sheets. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video for 1 second because I want to make sure that I'm not forgetting anything. I'm glad I checked because there was a thing I am forgetting, which is a clustered bar chart. So I want to show you how to make one of those. Where's Sheets? Zoom, get your toolbar out of the way. That one. Yeah, that one. Oh, this, by the way, says SPCC ethnicity data because that's what I was originally doing when I realized that I wanted cluster bar charts. So this is science. Okay, so clustered bar charts are bar charts. Well, I'll just show you what they look like. They're quite convenient, actually. They're really nice. And in fact, Sheets is smart enough to know to do them automatically if I hit a chart. What it's going to do is it's going to make me a chart that has, so Alabaster has 2 different numbers associated with it, right? It has science competition population and overall student population data. And so Sheets will make a chart where it takes Alabaster and it shows both of those things with different colors. This is called the clustered bar chart because you have multiple bars that are clustered up by variable. Or excuse me, by label. Right, so it's got two bars. So you can choose to cluster the other way if you want. Like I can cluster by science competition population, or excuse me, I can cluster by. What am I trying to say here? So I'm currently clustering by high school. We can cluster by science competition or overall student population as well. So where do we do that? There is switch rows and columns, right? There we go. Yeah, so it clusters the schools by science competition and overall student population. I think that's I don't think this is as good, but it's that is another way you can do it. Unswitch the rows and columns. So that's what a clustered bar chart is. Sheets is smart enough to make them automatically. In Excel, you have to choose. Here, let's switch over to Excel. You can do them in SPSS as well. It's awkward. It's a pain in the neck to do in SPSS, but you can. And if you want to know how, I will show you how at some point. So let's see here. Insert recommended chart. Do we have? Yeah. Oh, there we go. It even made a good selection for me. Cluster bar. They're calling them column charts, by the way, rather than bar charts. I don't know why everyone calls these bar charts, but there you go. Yeah. So same thing. You can modify them in the same way as you could in Sheets. All right. That is the last thing I wanted to cover. So let me stop sharing this. I will go ahead and stop the video there, and I will see you guys in the next one.